Alright everybody, we have a match between HexDepths on the left and a 4-color Loam deck on the right. It's Jaecheol, who's currently way high in the leaderboard of our Legacy Soul League at Rolling Dice in Hongdae. He is in 3rd at the moment.
I think you have a lot of cards that are hard for me to deal with.
And he's also my nemesis at the shop here. I am playing a DNS solver-ish list. Notably, this is the HexDepths list with the full playset of Hex Mages, Stages, Dark Depths, and a bunch of Sylvan Scrying, Expedition Map, and Crop Rotations. I am playing 0 main deck outs to Liliana, and the only way I really have to deal with that sort of thing is a Pithing Needle. So I know that Jaecheol has access to a Dark Depths and a Stage and a Karakas and a Mazavith in his deck, all problematic. And my only way to deal with that, plus the 4 Wastelands and Life from the Loam, is Pithing Needle. So I start off on a basic just to see what's in the hand. I want to make sure my Vampire Hex Mage Dark Depths combo is safe. I immediately see that Wasteland. And really the only way to deal with that is play some basics and then land a Pithing Needle, or play around it with Crop Rotation. It's probably my best bet. So I see the hand and I can see that he can go for a really fast Knight of the Reliquary, and I'm not going to try to deal with those Moxes. And they're just there, and I'm going to have to fight through them. So he goes for a turn 1 Knight of the Reliquary, but with no way of activating it. So it'll just be like kind of a big beater. And game 1 I have no removal whatsoever. So really I just need to combo very fast. Maybe try to bait him into using a Wasteland, and then crop rotate away whatever his target was. A good way of doing that in this deck is playing out Lotus Petals for the mana you need, or holding Elvish Spirit Guides in hand, so that you can crop rotate out of nowhere when it looks like you're tapped out. So I'm going to expose a Bayou to a Wasteland here, and he riffs a Liliana off the top. And immediately, yeah. I think I was sort of on autopilot here, because I snapped off this crop rotation, and then in the middle of it, I realized that the Liliana trigger is going to be on the stack regardless, and he still has access to Wasteland next turn. So I have to let the Hex Mage go.
That's not good. Yeah.
And I can't possibly make enough land drops to keep the Dark Depths safe. So I think I was on autopilot here, and I punted this game pretty hard, because I opened myself up to a top decked second Wasteland. Yeah, okay. We missed an attack with a Knight. Yeah, I'm tilting hard, because we could have just let the Hex Mage go and then continue. Well, no, because he's got the Liliana, he's going to make us discard a bunch. Maybe I should have. Well, we crop rotate into something more useful like Urborg, and then that opens up like a lot more opportunities for us to draw a better card off the top. So now I'm going to open Thespian Stage up to another Wasteland. I believe the reason that I did this was because I still had a Dark Depths in hand, so I have a lot of live draws. And get rid of a Not of This World. hits me for quite a bit. That knight is going to be a really fast clock. Lily is open to a sacrifice effect next turn. I think I'm about ready to just give this game up. But I can force him to waste me, and then maybe I can top deck something. Notably, force him to waste, then... Let's see. Well, we force him to waste, then get rid of our hand, rip a Pithing Needle off the top for Liliana, and then outdraw him. Because I still have live draws at this point, but throwing that crop rotation so early in the game was just a complete mistake. We didn't really have to do that. There's also an argument for keeping Elvish Spirit Guide in hand so that I can play it out and have an out to Liliana. But now I'm empty-handed, so the perfect run of cards would be... No. I need a blocker for a knight. I could top deck Bajuka Bog. Here I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I can live. I should probably just... I should scoop this game. There's no reason to show him Pithing Needle. Because it's possible that he had no idea what was going on with the deck list. So Bajuka Bog would have made the knight a 2-2. I still had some live draws. Yeah, scoop him up. So I knew from turn 2 when he ripped the Liliana that I was just dead there. I believe in this situation I can take out Sajiri Step because that's one of the utility lands that doesn't do anything. I can possibly take out some of the fast mana because I know that it's going to be a grindier matchup. I can also take out all of the Not of This Worlds because his ways of dealing with my cards are going to be Karakas and Liliana. I don't think he doesn't have like swords. I'm not afraid of him targeting my guy. So I think we bring in our 4th Pithing Needle and some number of Abrupt Decays. I am not in the market for these surgicals. I don't think that that's important. It's a pretty straightforward sideboard plan here. From Jaecheol's side, I think he knows exactly what's going on with my deck. Maybe not the extent of what's inside of it. He could be wrong on a couple of cards. So I can't honestly say what his sideboard plan is going to be. It looks like I'm simply pulling out a lot of fast mana, which means I left the Not of This Worlds inside, and that's confusing to me because Not of This World only blanks Karakas. So looking back on this now, I feel that the Elvish Spirit Guides are simply better than such a narrow card when I was already going to have to fight through Karakas regardless. If you're wondering, the main way of dealing with Karakas is Pithing Needle and Ghost Quarter. There's no other way around it. You need to make sure that he can't target your guy unless you've got a Not of This World in hand. The deck also doesn't have any real way of searching up stuff that it needs. This isn't the cool bug version. I haven't given that a shot. That's because I don't own Mox Diamonds. I think I had told Jaecheol before the match here that I was pretty sure that this was a bad matchup. He seemed a bit intimidated about the all-in combo because he doesn't have much, like he doesn't have a lot of card selection, and he doesn't have any way of fighting things on the stack. So he was a little concerned that a Merit Lage would just pop out of nowhere on turn 2 and kill him, which is certainly possible. But I think that he was in a good position even from game 1 because, like you saw, he just ripped a turn 2 Liliana there even after a duress. And I could have been better off if I had just played it very slow and gotten a couple of pithing needles. But that Knight of the Reliquary got very large very fast.
Alright, I'll play first.
This hand looks like Abrupt Decay, Hex Mage, Dark Depths, and 2 fetches. A basic.
Okay.
He brought in Leyline of the Void, which I double check, make sure, yeah, that doesn't do anything against HexDepths.
Okay.
So I'm happy that he's got dead cards in his deck because that does absolutely nothing. I see a Wasteland, a Savannah, and that's about all I can see from his hand so far. He's got a Mox that he didn't play. It's interesting. So we'll play a Bayou out in front of the Wasteland and see if he wants to waste it. He knows that that's bait because we can pretty much play out lands right in front of him, and he'll know that they're bait because there's so many better targets for the Wastelands. He's not going to try to waste anything until I expose a real target, and or I put a Pithing Needle up on the stack. So he draws a Caracas for the turn.
Okay.
Yeah. He's going to throw a Savannah away to the Mox. Sorry, the Mox Diamond. And leads with Dark Confidant. Pretty good draw engine here. It loses in a fight against the Hex Mage, but it's just going to sit there and draw a bunch of cards. A tank here in the face of that Wasteland and see how I can best play around it. Notably, this hand just has not had a duress effect to see what's going on, and it has not had a Pithing Needle. The very important things that I wanted in this matchup. And without seeing a better target for that, we can just decay the Bob before it starts drawing cards. So he pulls a Chalice off the top. Chalice against my deck can do a lot of work, though he has seen the second Bob. He's seen the presence of Abrupt Decays, so it's not going to sit there forever, but Chalice on 1 is very damaging to me. Chalice on 2 is pretty damaging as well. So nab the Chalice out of his hand with a Thoughtseize. And if last turn was any indication, it felt like racing was acceptable, so should probably get in there with a Hex Mage, right?
Okay. Two. Go.
So we play a Ghost Quarter out in front of the Wasteland. It's safe. The Death Ray comes out, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
15. Go.
There's another reason why I'm pretty happy to see that Leyline, because it hurts the Death Ray Shaman more than it hurts me. Leyline doesn't stop me from doing anything in the deck. He must assume that I'm a Loam deck. And looking back on this, I completely disagree with Ghost Quartering the Caracas now. I don't see why we had to do that. It keeps other opportunities open if we leave the Ghost Quarter out. And what if he draws another Caracas? Or what if he finds himself a life from the Loam so he can get Caracas back into his hand? And I wasted a Ghost Quarter activation. I'm not sure why we did that. That's a blatant misplay, really. So play out the Dark Depths, put 10 counters on it. Probably play out this map that we found, which is going to go get a nice tutor target. It's probably going to be, what, Burborg? Or a Stage? If we go get Stage with a bunch of mana out and Hex Mage out as well, then we're safe from a single Wasteland. We're safe from a single Liliana. We are not safe from him finding and playing a Liliana or another Waste, or loaning back his Caracas and putting that back onto the field. He's going to go grab a Dryad Arbor, so that's going to make his next swing for 3 or 4. If he refuses to put in the Deathrite Shaman, then we'll go to 12 this next turn. And the race is pretty tight.
Okay. Two.
So he reveals a Chalice, gets that for free. Might be time for us to start holding our Hex Mage back. Might not be able to just tackle him for too much longer. It looks like he flashed us a copy of Sylvan Library. So his choice now, he's tanking on whether he should Chalice for 1, Chalice for 2, or cast a Sylvan Library. And I think he's going to arrive at the conclusion that Sylvan Library is going to be very powerful here. So it puts us to 13, no, it puts us to 12. He plays. You gotta play the library here. It's just too good.
Yeah.
He puts the library out there so he can manipulate his deck a little bit, try to find a Liliana.
Mana touch. Okay. 11.
So I think we'll crack the map here. And the obvious choice is Thespian Stage. I can fetch pretty freely for the Bayous because if he wasted one for whatever reason, I'd be ecstatic. So I go down to 11. I think about it for a second. He doesn't have any instants to remove. The Deathrite is only really representing 1 health a turn. So he's got a Fortune Clock if he wants it. I can slow that down a bit. by keeping Hexmage back. It's beginning to really look like, I mean, I'm never going to kill him with Hexmage beats, so putting him to 13 is as good as it gets. I just need him sub 20. So the hand is now Sajiri Step, Thespian Stage, something. Draw a second copy of Dark Depths. With the Thespian Stage and the Hexmage out, I can feel pretty secure against the board right now, but we got to be worried about the Sylvan Library finding what it needs. Hexmage has begun just hanging back. And he's going to gain 2 life with the death right. There are no more creatures, so he's still under the threshold of a Merit Lage hit. And I don't foresee him being able to go past that.
Just draw more Wasteland. Maybe Dark Confidant will take care of you.
He's got a Dark Confidant active, and he's got the library, so he's going to see a lot of cards. Okay, so he reveals life from the Loam, which can nab Caracas back from the graveyard. That is... And Chalice, Badlands, Liliana. So Liliana is the draw for the turn. He's going to get a free hit off Dark Confidant next turn. It's insane.
Target.
Gotta really kick myself over using the Ghost Quarter. There's no reason to use it.
Okay.
So he gets 2 fetches and a Caracas back in his hand. At this point, I know that I've got more to fight through, but I still feel okay. Assuming that he's going to play Caracas for his land drop this turn. I do not know that he found the Liliana. So I feel crestfallen now. He's got a Caracas in hand. He's got a Liliana. And I have no way of interacting with that, plus the Wasteland on the table. So he's going to force us to lose our Hexmage. We could Thespian Stage, target Dryad Arbor, and attempt to sacrifice that. He could interrupt us by Wastelanding in the middle, so we can't do that. He has the Caracas land drop anyway, so I can't expose the Merit Lage. And here, I'm confused. What, you're targeting the stage? So stage is going to target a swamp. And then this is a bit awkward. It's going to take us a bit to realize it, but on the HexDepths side, I feel like I just protected my Thespian Stage from Wasteland, and from his side, he thinks that I'm tanking about what to do before the Thespian Stage disappears, when in reality, I think that he's tanking, and I'm already done with my actions. It's unfortunately going to take us a little while to catch up with each other before I ask him, like, hey, what's up, man? So this is the look of Two players very patiently waiting for the other one to make a decision. Let's see who breaks the standstill first here. He sets his hand down entirely. I set my hand down entirely. So what's going on here?
May I go?
So I ask, so may I go?
Swamp. Okay.
Oh, it's a swamp.
Sorry, I was waiting too. Okay. That means there's a swamp. Me too. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right, go ahead, man.
So he plays a land that is not Caracas, and I'm pretty stoked because I guess he wants to clear Badlands off the top of his deck, and he wants to make 3 mana. Why 3? Wait. Oh, that's okay. He makes 2 mana, so he can Chalice on 1, attacks me for 2, and at this point I know that he's used up his land drop. Liliana can't make me sacrifice next turn, and I have a stage. So I just have to figure out one way around a Caracas next turn. I think that I'm still in a really, really bad shape. It's unclear to me now whether he was trying to protect his Caracas from another land destruction effect, or whether he actually just realized that whether he didn't realize that he needed all of his land drops to be Caracas Wasteland. So we got a tie game at 9. He cleared the top of his deck for Sylvan Library, finds another Wasteland, and a Life from the Loam, I believe. So he's gonna keep the Wasteland and feel pretty good. And he's basically just stymied by the 1 land drop return. And now I'm like, wait, dude. Do I win? I can't believe it.
He's copied swamp. Yeah, it's swamp that says you can copy again. Yeah. Judgy.
He's gonna call a judge just to make sure.
스왑프로 한번 복사를 했어요.
네.
들어가서 이게 또 복사를 할 수 있어요.
예, 아래쪽에 보시면 이 어빌리티를 가진다고 나와 있어요. It's regain its ability.
Because I lost this game, except that you just. I'm gonna make Mary lazy.
Oh man.
이게 뭐 하는 거야 이게?
Well, so I feel like I barely made it out of that one. There's something to be said for always continuing to play when you think that you've lost this game. I mean, I had no right to win that one. Really, though, watching it again, I have to be much more careful with my Ghost Quarter. Like, why did I kill it?
So I was just going to.
I didn't remember that this happened when I went to do commentary for this video. I didn't remember that there was a Life from the Loam Caracas that I was totally avoidable. Because if you think about it the way I'm thinking about it, where there's a series of lands that I have to navigate myself around, as well as Liliana, where I'm thinking, okay, I need a 1-for-1 answer with Caracas, Wasteland, and Liliana. I need to either like crop rotate around a Wasteland target, force him into wasting me when I have an answer to the next card or whatever, then you start to realize that the Caracas doesn't do anything if you can end of turn kill it before you make the Merit Lage. So that game could have been a lot easier for me.
Yeah, thinking.
And I guess we're going to go into game 3 pretty quickly here without boarding. Next time around when I hit this matchup again, I believe I'm going to want my Elvish Spirit Guides. I think that they're better than the Not of This Worlds. It's true that Caracas is annoying and Not of This World is a really great answer to it. But I think it's more narrow than having Elvish Spirit Guide in your deck to have just way more turn 2 wins. Some fast mana from Jaecheol, but no turn 1 play. I've got an Urborg, a Not of This World, a Duress, a Petal. So Urborg, Duress start seems pretty safe. I don't really care if he Wastelands the Urborg. So it's a Punishing Fire and a Green Suns. And I obviously can't care about that Punishing Fire, especially with Grove in hand. I've got no way to remove it anyway, so didn't bring in the Surgicals because they're not really for this matchup. I mean, there's an argument for bringing it in, but I didn't think I had the room. I think it's really strong for HexDepths to play 8 main deck discard spells, so you really know what to play around. I know at this point that he's basically completely defenseless, and if I can capitalize on that, I just kill him. Ghost Quarter or Pithing Needle. The first target is going to be the 4 of, so we're just going to name Wasteland there. There's a second. So we've got a crop rotation in hand with a Lotus Petal available, and we'll just slam the second Pithing Needle, and we'll name Liliana here.
Liliana. Yep. And game 1? Oh, okay.
So take 1 damage total from Punishing Fire. He's got the engine on board, but since it's not going to kill my little creatures, of which I have none basically, I feel like we've got maybe 10-ish turns to find whatever we need. With Ghost Quarter Urborg, but no Dark Depths Thespian stage, I guess we're not going to search for a combo piece yet because we don't know what our next draw is going to bring us. We really sort of want to draw the Dark Depths and then go search for the stage, or vice versa. But one thing that's severely lacking right now is we want to use the crop rotation for a straight up combo piece, but if you'll notice, we've only got an Urborg and a colorless source, so we have 2 black available but no green. He's going to force us to crop rotate here. We'll tank for a second before... We have to get rid of the Ghost Quarter because the Urborg is too important. So we'll get rid of the Ghost Quarter. And we basically just decided it's okay, we're going to draw a green source, or we'll draw whatever we need. So let's let Chalice resolve, get the 1 drop out of our hand, maybe Abrupt Decay it later, and put the depths on board.
Chalice is good.
This can't be a good situation for the Loam player here because his clock is so slow, and he's facing down a Dark Depths, and you can't even draw Wasteland or Liliana to get out of the current situation. So he probably believes that we can just slam Dark Depths, or slam Thespian Stage here and win the game. But from my side here, I have to admit that we're going to continue getting fired, and any Duresses, Thoughtseizes, and crop rotations we draw are completely dead, and we don't have any green sources, so we cannot draw a Sylvan Scrying. There's a Sylvan Scrying.
Go.
We just have to keep passing back.
Gain 1 and 16. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Draw.
Draw step, look for a duress. Think better of. Now we're not gonna play a duress. Go.
Go. 1 damage.
Fire.
Just kill me, man. Get it over with. Go. Nice. Go.
So the maze is a really good draw for him. Got some more things that I have to fight through. Okay, so we drew the Abrupt Decay to unlock Chalice. That's great. Reads the Jaecheol, realizes that I played it for a land drop, that's all. Yep.
14.
So we show this hand of Decay, Scrying,
Fine.
Duress.
It's a good game. Yeah. Go. What?
We continue to draw 1 mana spells, dying to Punishing Fire.
How many cards? 5.
I missed an activation of Dark Depths there at end of turn.
Go.
I think it's about time for a real clock to show up, maybe. Okay.
Fine. 아, 보고 있었어. 우리 보고 있어. 우리 보고 있어. 우리 보고 있어.
He hardcasts a ley line, which I'm ecstatic about.
No, no. Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. Okay, yeah, it does nothing. Okay. Missed another Dark Depths activation. So draw Not of This World, maybe, and pass it back.
Yeah. Clean up. Yeah. 1. Alright. Clean up? Yep. Discard a duress. Okay. Yeah, go. Ah, shit. 여기 잘 못해. Why am I passing so many turns without using Dark Depths? 좋아. 두 대씩 때릴 수 있어. Go.
The players are getting increasingly agitated here.
Okay. Draw.
Draw another 1-drop. And request permission to go to cleanup step. I wish I had been counting how many turns I had gone through without drawing a green source, because I have the win on the table with any one of the Sylvan Scryings that I have in hand.
9.
Oh, there's the clock that we talked about. We're going to go to 9. And we're going to activate Dark Depths.
Clean up. 1 damage. Discard Thoughtseize. Go.
I wish I had kept track of how many times we bricked here, just looking for a single green source. We've had the Abrupt Decay for the Chalice the entire time, so it's not like that's really the hard part. The hard part is that we can't find a Verdant Catacombs, or Bayou, or Forest. or pedal. Oh yeah, I had another 3 pedals left in the deck.
6. Discarding our board. Okay. You gain 1. Yes.
Naturally drawn Thespian Stage is also an out here because we could have drawn. Well, obviously.
Just 2.
Chalice on 2 comes down.
Yeah, okay.
Things are getting way close
Cool.
to the end here.
Depths down to 6. Draw. 와, crazy. 나의 선택은 정확했어.
That would have been nice previously, right? I caught him with his pants down a little bit
Go ahead.
with the Bajuka Bog, but I was still extremely agitated at the lack of green mana.
Yeah.
So we are going to die to Dryad Arbor here. Unless we find Verdant Catacombs.
Yeah.
So we rip another Thoughtseize. I sigh so hard that the sheet of paper on a pithing needle blows away. I know that other people have done that as well. We have one more turn before dying to a Dryad Arbor.
On a 2. Yeah, okay.
And Green Sun's whatever he searches for will end up killing us, yeah. Doesn't really matter at this point what it is.
Cool.
So Jaecheol has lethal on board. HexDepths player puts his Dark Depths to 4 and reveals what? Depths, World, Abrupt Decay, 4 Sylvan Scrying. Hmm.
I had to decay the whole game.
Thanks for watching.